Sure. Wonderful show here. It's amazing because what I see in the show is just like how our industry was 6 years ago. And at that time, nobody really talked about regulations and what is in the wonderful e-liquids that we're vaping. And I think that in itself is going to be the next major issue here. Government is probably going to step in. They're going to regulate what you're actually putting into human beings' lungs and into their bloodstream. And also they're probably going to tax it like they are in America. So the big thing is for companies to position themselves by self-regulating to get ahead of the game. Whoever's making your e-liquids, understand the science behind it. Understand your water content, your pH levels. Understand some of the constituents that are in there. Make sure there's no diacetyl, acetylpropanol, acetoin. Be careful of the pH levels. Make sure it's not acidic. Make sure it's not a sour flavor. Don't use any sucralose or sugars to flavor your fluids with, because that just creates additional problems. And in America, companies that were flavoring their e-liquids with sugars, their clients suddenly found 6 months later their teeth were rotting from cavities. So you have to be very careful. And as I say to people, if you're going to build a house, you don't talk to a baker or a taxi driver to build your house. You talk to a licensed contractor. Same thing with e-liquid. If you're going to make e-liquid, have scientists do it so they can do the checks and back your company up and knock down your liability, because you are putting this into a human being's lungs and into their bloodstream. None of us run outside with a cup when it rains and scoops water out of a puddle and drinks it because we know it's contaminated. Well, I suggest that we also know exactly what we're putting into our lungs, so we all can have a great industry, make lots of money, help people quit smoking, and everybody gets to live longer and a healthier life. It's exciting. I think a lot of the concepts that were in the United States are here as well, particularly as you look around the show and it's all foggy from all the big vapor. In the regulations in the United States, they're going to be limiting the temperatures of the units, of the hardware, to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is what we hear. Because at higher temperatures, glycol will produce formaldehyde and glycerin will produce acrolein, and these things are, they're on the carcinogen list, and they're not good components. So the way to stop that is you lower the temperatures. So we're going into that type of regulations in the United States, and it's still what we had a few years ago, the Wild West we called it, where everybody's making it, in their garage or making what tastes good, and then the flavor will take off and you make a bunch of money on it, and then it'll die out and something new will come along. It's just like how it was, 5-6 years ago in the United States, and it's exciting. People are learning, it's morphing, but I think things are moving much quicker here than they did in the United States, because you have some precedent in Russia and in Europe and the United States.